When I was 9 years old, on the rough and tumble streets of Fortson, Georgia, we played a game. The game was called, let's see how close we can hit rocks to cars without actually hitting the cars. One night, the aim of yours truly, a bit too precise, and just like that, there goes the neighbor's back window. And then, Mr. Rivers, the cover-up was on. And 20 minutes later, as is the case with most cover-ups orchestrated by terrified 9-year-olds, it was uncovered. Now, I prepared for the worst. I prepared for maybe the switch, maybe the belt, maybe all of the above. But my dad had a much harsher punishment to dole out that night in the form of 6 words capable of cutting any child straight to the core.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
It still cuts deep to this day. I'm back. Disappointment like success bound to happen in any college football season, Mr. Rivers. So I ask you, what would disappoint you in 2015?
Malcolm Mitchell not playing a full season for the University of Georgia would really disappoint me.
Yep.
And I'm not a Georgia fan, so I don't care what they do. However, I do like to see players that are high caliber players, and he's a high character guy too. Haven't heard him get into much trouble. But he's had seasons of starting 4 games, 6 games, and 9 games.
I would be really disappointed this year if Alabama's secondary struggled again. Because when I watch Alabama, I don't think it is a problem with the defense being able to grasp the concepts of how to slow down a hurry-up, no-huddle style offense. I just think their secondary has been very subpar. Talked about this on the press box earlier today as well. I just think their personnel is very much lacked in the secondary in relation to what they had there in 2011 and 2012. Well, this year, at least on paper, it looks like they have the horses back that they used to have in the past. And so if they struggle once again mightily on 3rd down, if they struggle once again with those deep passes that plagued them so much down the stretch last year, even in some games that they won, I'd be really disappointed in that. Joining us now live via the Headquarter Nissan Hotline, Wes Rucker does a stupendous job covering Tennessee for GoVols247.com, and you know how very rarely I use that word. Wes Rucker with us. Wes, people are panicked around here, at least in Orange Nation around here. I've got rumors flying about broken bones, pulled muscles, so please, if you do nothing else for us this evening, can you please give us a legitimate Tennessee injury report?
The best way I can probably put it is that they've got one serious injury. Senior guard Marcus Jackson, he started, I believe, 17 career games, played 36 career games. He is out for most likely the season, at least most of the season. Allegedly, Marcus Jackson's the only super serious one at the moment.
What was the deal with Marquez North? I know there was a lot of speculation over the last 24 hours about the big-time wide receiver up there.
There was, and he went down, from what I've heard anyway, it was a part right there kind of just after the media had been sort of dismissed from practice. We can watch them stretch and then nothing else. And as soon as you hear non-contact knee injury, you start fearing for the worst, because when you see a non-contact knee injury, that can be a tear, that can be a lot of nasty things. And there was some fear initially that he might be lost for the season or a long period of time. But as it turns out, it's just a bit of a sprain.
What positions are of most interest right now?
I think certainly there's a couple. One of those offensive line spots at least is certainly going to be big for Tennessee. They got to sort out the offensive line. It's got to be better than it was last season. That's the key to that entire offense, because they've got a lot at quarterback with Dobbs and a ton of receivers coming out of their ears, some good running backs, good tight ends. They really need that offensive line to kind of get straightened out, and if it does, watch out for them on offense. And defensively, I think really you're looking at middle linebacker, and that's about it.
Wes, as I always tell you, stay out of trouble, stay hydrated. We'll talk to you again soon.
No problem, man. Anytime. Although people in Georgia need to stay away from my water, I'll say that.
Oh, man. We're on the river. We have no control, though. Wes Rucker, one of a kind, indeed. Buckets brought up a really good point. Bobby fooled around last night and missed the program, and shame on him for that. But Buckets offered a very simple solution. He said, you know what he said?
Tell me.
I'm going to pick up my gripper for this. He said, why don't you just set an alarm? And I thought to myself, that's a really good idea.
That's what happens when you're committed to something.
In fact, I believe all of us in the audience here have a phone. So let's make it a deal where all of us set an alarm.
So earlier on this week, you picked Tennessee to win the East, didn't you?
I sure did.
And you're firmly confident in that.
I had a moment of weakness this morning. When I turned on my computer and I saw Marquez North could be gone, I started doing in the gambling world what they call hedging.
And when I got that text from you and I sent you a text with my pick, UGA, because I am going ahead picking them to win the East, I have for the last couple of weeks, I won't even dignify with a response. What I got from you. We're going to leave that there.
And I'd love for this show to continue, so I won't repeat it either. If Auburn loses games this year, regardless of whether it has anything to do with Duke Williams or not, the Duke Williams decision to let him back on the team, that will be blamed.
And see, that's where you're going here. If Miles On has another season where you lose 4 or 5 games, and it's because you didn't keep your players in line, that's the type of thing to get you booted, man.
Jonathan Rivers, the best new director in the business, has Matt. Lindsay, Clayton's here tonight for everyone else here. Thanks for watching.